You walked into a forest once, maybe on a trail, maybe in a park, maybe just past the edge of a parking lot where the trees got thick. And the moment you stepped in, something happened that you probably didn't notice. The birds went quiet. A squirrel froze halfway up a trunk. Somewhere out of sight, a deer lifted its head, stopped chewing, and turned its whole body to face the sound of your foot landing on a leaf. You felt like a visitor. You felt small. You felt like the wilderness was vast and indifferent, and that you were the fragile one, the soft one, the one who forgot bug spray. But the real answer is far stranger. To almost every animal in that forest, you were not the fragile one. You were the monster. You were the thing their bodies are built to run from. You were the most terrifying predator that has ever walked the surface of the earth. And they are right to be afraid. Think about what you actually are for a moment. You probably don't feel dangerous. You feel like a person who gets winded on stairs and loses to a house cat in a staring contest. You can't outrun a dog. You can't outclimb a monkey. You have no claws. Your teeth are almost a joke. If you met a wolf in a fair fight, with nothing in your hands, you would lose. So why does the wolf run? Why does nearly every wild creature on the planet, from a sparrow to a grizzly bear, treat the sight of a single unarmed human as a reason to flee? The answer is buried deep in time. It's written into the nervous systems of animals that have never seen a human before in their lives. It's a fear so old and so deep that it doesn't need to be learned. And to understand it, you have to stop thinking about the person you are today and start thinking about the thing your ancestors became. Picture the African savanna 2 million years ago. The sun is brutal. The grass is tall and golden and full of teeth. There are lions here. There are leopards, hyenas, saber-toothed cats, animals so much faster and stronger than you that the comparison is almost embarrassing. And moving through this landscape is a small, upright, almost defenseless creature. Your ancestor. By every rule of nature, that creature should have been food. It was slow. It was weak. Its babies took years to grow up. It couldn't fight, couldn't climb fast enough, couldn't hide well. On paper, your ancestor was an easy meal, but your ancestor had one thing. Not claws, not fangs, not speed. A body that refused to quit. Here is something almost no one tells you about what you are. You are one of the greatest endurance hunters the planet has ever produced. Not the fastest, the most relentless. A cheetah can hit 70 miles an hour, but only for about 30 seconds before its body overheats and it has to stop. You can't sprint like that, but you can keep going, and going, and going. There is a hunting technique older than agriculture, older than cities, older than written language. It's called persistence hunting, and it works like this. You find an animal, a gazelle, an antelope, a kudu. You don't try to catch it, you can't. It's far faster than you, so instead you just start walking toward it. It runs, you follow, it stops, you arrive, it runs again, you follow again. You do this for hours. In the heat of the day, the animal you're chasing has a problem you don't have. It can't sweat the way you can. Most mammals cool themselves by panting, but panting and galloping at the same time is nearly impossible. So as the animal sprints away again and again, its body temperature climbs and climbs, and there is nothing it can do to stop it. You, meanwhile, are covered head to toe in millions of sweat glands. Your near-naked skin, the thing that makes you feel so vulnerable, is actually a radiator. You shed heat better than almost any large animal alive. You sip water and keep moving. The sun that's killing your prey is barely slowing you down. So you walk, and you track, and eventually, after miles, the animal's body simply gives out. It collapses, not from a wound, but from overheating. And you walk up to a creature that could have outrun you 1,000 times over, and it cannot stand. This is what you are, not the strongest thing in the wild, the thing that does not stop coming. The anthropologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard spent years studying exactly this, the idea that the human body was sculpted by endurance. He pointed to features you have right now and never think about: the springy arch in your foot, the tendon in the back of your leg that stores and releases energy with every stride, a special ligament at the base of your skull that keeps your head steady while you run. None of these make you fast. All of them make you tireless. Your body is a machine built for the long chase. But endurance alone doesn't explain the fear. Lots of animals have stamina. What turned your ancestors from prey into nightmare was something else entirely. You learn to throw. Stop and think about how strange that is. Almost no animal on Earth can throw an object accurately at a target. A chimpanzee, far stronger than you, throws like a toddler. But you, even an average untrained you, can pick up a rock and hit a moving target from across a clearing. With practice, you can do it hard enough to crack bone. The shape of your shoulder, the way your arm cocks back and whips forward, the rotation of your torso, all of it evolved to turn your body into a weapon that strikes from a distance. And distance changes everything. A lion has to get close to kill. It has to commit, to risk a kick or a horn or a bite. But your ancestor could stand 30 feet away and kill without ever being touched. A creature that can hurt you without letting you hurt it back is not a normal predator. It breaks the rules. Every instinct an animal has for fighting or fleeing assumes the danger has to come close. You didn't have to. Now put the two together. A predator that never tires and can strike from a distance. There was no defense against it. You couldn't outrun it because it would just follow you until you dropped. You couldn't fight it because it killed you before you reached it. You couldn't wait it out because it was patient in a way no animal had ever been patient before. For the animals of the ancient world, your ancestors weren't just another competitor. They were something new, something that did not fit any of the old rules of survival. Here is where it gets genuinely chilling. The fear animals have of you is not just learned from bad experiences. A lot of it is baked in. It's instinct. There are animals on remote islands, animals whose families have not encountered a human in tens of thousands of years, that still show fear responses to the human form, the human voice, the human shape, moving upright on two legs. A few years ago, a team of researchers led by Liana Zanet ran an experiment that should change how you see yourself forever. They went into the wild and played recordings to animals. Sometimes the sound of lions, sometimes the sound of dogs, sometimes the sound of humans, just people talking calmly, normally, the way you'd chat with a friend. The animals were more afraid of the human voices than the lions. Read that again. Wildlife, including large predators, were more terrified of the sound of a person speaking than of the sound of the apex predator that has hunted them for millennia. Badgers stopped eating. They hid. They fled. The mere murmur of human conversation, no shouting, no threat, sent animals running who would stand their ground against a lion. You are scarier than the lion. To them, you always have been. Zanet and her colleagues have repeated this finding across the world, with different species on different continents. The pattern holds. From South Africa to Canada, the most feared sound in the natural world is not a roar or a snarl. It's the sound of you. Talking. Why? Because the lion is a known quantity. Animals have strategies for lions. They know how close is too close. They know the warning signs. They know that a fed lion is a safe lion. But humans broke every strategy. We hunt in daylight and at night. We hunt the young and the old and the strong. We never get full and stop the way a lion does after a kill. And we kill at a scale nothing else ever has. There's a word ecologists now use for us. They call humans the super predator. And it's not a compliment. Studies measuring how often humans kill prey compared to other predators found that we hunt adult prey at rates many times higher than lions, wolves, or bears. We don't just take the weak and the sick the way natural predators do. We take the breeding adults, the very animals a population needs to survive. No other predator on Earth does this. It is, in the deepest sense, unnatural. And animals feel it. Think about what this means for the deer that froze when you walked into the forest. That deer is not making a mistake, it is not being paranoid. It is running an ancient program, written across thousands of generations, that says one thing very clearly. The upright thing is the thing that does not stop. Run now, run far, ask questions never. The deer that hesitated did not pass on its genes. The deer that ran did. And so today, every deer that sees you carries the memory of every human who ever hunted its ancestors, compressed into a single jolt of fear that fires before it can even think. You are walking through that forest as the ghost of 2 million years of pursuit. But here is the twist, here is the part that turns this whole story inside out. That same body, that same relentless, tireless, terrifying machine. It isn't built only for the hunt. Think again about what made you the super predator. Endurance. The ability to keep going long after others stop. The capacity to follow a single goal across hours, across distance, across exhaustion, and not give up. That trait didn't disappear when we put down the spears. It's still in you, right now. It's the same thing that lets you study for years to learn a skill. The same thing that lets you train for a marathon, raise a child for 2 decades, chase a dream that takes half your life to reach. The relentlessness that terrified the animals of the savannah is the same relentlessness that built everything you've ever admired about being human. The patience to plant a seed and wait for the harvest, the stubbornness to fail and try again, the refusal to stop, and the throwing arm, the ability to act at a distance, to affect things far away from your own body. That became the ability to plan, to imagine a target you can't touch yet and aim your whole life at it. Every goal you've ever set is a kind of throw. You picked a point in the distance and you committed. Even your fearsome cooperation, the way humans hunted in coordinated groups, became the thing that lets you love. To raise children together, to build communities, to trust a stranger, the same social bonds that once surrounded a mammoth and brought it down are the bonds that let you hold a hand in a hospital waiting room. You were shaped into a predator, but the tools of the predator turned out to be the tools of the builder, the parent, the dreamer, the friend. The animals fear what you were. They cannot see what you became, and maybe, just maybe, that's the most human thing of all. That a creature forged by the hunt could learn to use that same fire to create instead of destroy. That the thing the whole animal kingdom learned to fear could choose sometimes to protect instead. There are people right now who spend their entire lives trying to save the very animals their ancestors hunted to the brink. The same endurance aimed in reverse, the same patient, relentless pursuit turned toward keeping a species alive instead of running it down. So the next time you walk into the woods and feel the silence fall, the birds go quiet, the deer go still, don't feel small, don't feel like a fragile visitor in a world too big for you. Understand what that silence really is. It is respect. It is memory. It is the entire living world remembering, in its blood and its bones, what your kind is capable of. You are not the weak thing in the forest. You never were. You are the most successful, most relentless, most quietly powerful creature this planet has ever made. The forest goes quiet because it knows exactly what you are. The only one who forgot was you.